How could a poor man, who belonged to no noble family, rise to the pinnacle of power in Rome and become its undisputed master? How did he lead its armies to their greatest victories, only to fall into a spiral of violence and revenge? This is the story of Gaius Marius, the man who forever changed the Roman army, rising from the bottom to the top, before meeting a dramatic downfall. Gaius Marius was born in 157 BC in the village of Arpinum, Italy, to a poor plebeian family. He had no noble family name, no wealth, but he possessed something far more important, an indomitable will. From a young age, his dream was to become a great soldier, despite the fact that the aristocracy monopolized military positions. He joined the army and proved himself as a fierce warrior and a fearless leader. Thanks to his military genius, he caught the attention of the great Roman commander Scipio Aemilianus, who predicted a brilliant future for him. But the problem was that Rome was not ruled by courage alone. Political influence was the true key to power. Marius realized that he could not reach the top by strength alone, so he decided to enter the world of politics through the Grand Gate, marriage into a noble family. He married Julia, the daughter of the powerful Julii family, who would later become the aunt of Julius Caesar. Thanks to this marriage, he gained political support that allowed him to enter the Roman Senate. In 107 BC, he was elected consul of Rome, the highest political office, despite not being of noble birth, something that was almost impossible in that era. But Marius's true glory did not begin in Rome. It began on the battlefield. At that time, Rome was in great danger due to two deadly threats. The Jugurthine War in North Africa. King Jugurtha of Numidia was leading a rebellion against Roman rule. The invasion of the Germanic tribes, the Cimbri and Teutones tribes, were attacking Rome and threatening to annihilate it. Marius was not a man of words, but a man of action. He led his armies to North Africa and personally captured Jugurtha, putting an end to the rebellion. However, the greater threat was the Germanic invasion, as the tribal armies vastly outnumbered the Romans and had already killed more than 80,000 Roman soldiers in previous battles. When Marius was elected consul 5 times in a row, a record in Rome, he completely reformed the Roman army, turning it into an unstoppable war machine. In the battles of Aquae Sextiae, 102 BC, and Vercelli, 101 BC, Marius led his army to utterly crush the Germanic tribes, saving Rome from certain disaster. Thus, Marius became the undefeated hero and the greatest savior of Rome. After his victories, Marius began to see himself as the only man worthy of ruling Rome. In 100 BC, he allied with the populist politician Saturninus and started passing laws that increased his power. However, when things spiraled out of control, the Senate turned against him, forcing him into exile from Rome, where he disappeared from the political scene for years. But Rome would not remain stable for long. A new ambitious leader, Sulla, emerged, and his rise meant Marius would return to the stage once again. In 88 BC, a civil war erupted between Marius and Sulla, the two greatest commanders of Rome. Each of them saw himself as the rightful leader of the Republic. Sulla seized Rome by force, forcing Marius to flee to Africa. But Marius would never accept defeat. He gathered an army of his supporters and returned to Rome by force in 87 BC. At this point, Marius transformed from a popular hero into a bloodthirsty tyrant. Upon entering Rome, he launched a brutal campaign of revenge, ordering the execution of all his political enemies without trial. He had hundreds of senators killed, drowning Rome in a sea of blood. After reclaiming his power, he declared himself consul for the 7th time, something no one had ever done before. But his vengeance would not last long, for death was waiting for him. A few months after his return to power, Marius fell ill with a mysterious disease, said to be either madness or pneumonia, and died in January 86 BC at the age of 70. He did not die by the enemy's sword, nor on the battlefield, but alone in his bed after losing all his friends due to his brutality. After his death, Sulla returned to Rome and ordered his name to be erased from history, but he could not erase his great military legacy. The moral of the story: opportunity comes to those who deserve it. Despite being from a poor class, he became the most powerful man in Rome thanks to his intelligence and courage. True reform may come from outside. Marius changed the Roman military system forever, making soldiers rely on their commanders instead of the Senate. Absolute power corrupts its holders. He started as a beloved leader, but ended as a tyrant who killed his friends before his enemies. Thus, Gaius Marius remained in history not only as one of Rome's greatest leaders, but as a man who rose from nothing to the very top, only to fall due to his boundless ambition.